The future is here. These were just barely released, and you can unlock them by scanning your palm or face. What? But let's see how they actually work. Like, are they faster and more convenient than what's already available? And how secure are these? Like, can I trick them into opening? Because let's be honest, that's what we're all wondering. Okay, first, let's start off with the lock that reads palms. This is the Philips 5000 series deadbolt, and it's $360. There's a little scanner underneath the keypad that can read a palm, and apparently there are 5 million data points from unique veins in our hands. I always thought a device that could scan my hand to enter a door would only be in the movies, but here we are. So crazy. Registering a palm was probably the most surprising thing. You just hold up your hand and it registers it in a second. That's it. I was expecting it to be like a fingerprint sensor where you have to do multiple presses and different angles, so thumbs up for how fast it is. Or I should say, palms up. Live long and prosper. But how fast does it unlock, and is it reliable? Well, my hand has to be pretty close to the lock. Not here or here so much, but right here.
Not here or here so much, but right here.
But once I knew the vicinity of where to put my hand, it wasn't a problem. And I also registered my palm upside down, and it was quick to recognize me. Philip says you should hold your hand steady, so of course I waved my hand to see if it would work. And it did! It was actually better, because if I wasn't holding my hand in the right spot initially, waving my hand would fix that. And waving my hand to open a door lock kind of made me feel like a Jedi, but cupping my hand caused problems, so I had to hold my hand pretty straight. However, the lock had no problems if my hand was covered in water, in direct sunlight, or in the dark. I'm surprised at how well this technology works, especially since I've never seen it before. But how much more convenient is it over my current smart lock? Well, I normally tap my Apple Watch to the Schlagen Code Plus to unlock, so let's see which is faster. Okay, what about carrying a bunch of groceries through the door? As you can see, maybe it's slightly more convenient to use the palm of my hand, especially since I don't have to be wearing my Apple Watch or have my phone on me. But before I move on to the face scanning lock, there are a couple of quick things that I like and don't like about this one. It uses 4 CR123A batteries, which is not a battery I normally have laying around, unlike AA's that most locks typically use. The lock connects with Wi-Fi, so you don't need a hub, but there's no word on their website how long battery life is supposed to last, so I reached out and they said 4 to 6 months, which seems typical for a Wi-Fi lock. And if you want to lock the door from the outside, you have to hold down on a button for a few seconds. Not fast or convenient. There's also a doorbell button on it and an included chime. I already have a doorbell next to my lock, so I wouldn't use this. But there is one really cool extra feature I like. There's a sensor for the interior side of the door, and if you're reaching for the door handle to go outside, the lock will automatically open. It worked okay, but it wasn't 100% consistent. Alright, if you really want to see a futuristic lock, this next one just came out and it's extremely impressive. It's the Lockly Visage and it costs $350. Instead of reading your palm, this one scans your face. The sensor is on top of the lock, similar to phones that have this technology. And registering my face took longer than scanning my palm, but it's similar to phones like Apple that use Face ID. I tested it out and the height was a little more forgiving. I didn't have to be in a certain spot, but I did have to be slightly close to it. I put on sunglasses and a hat to see if that would throw it off, but nope, it detected my face just fine. I also tested it in the dark and everything seemed to work great. So how much more convenient is it versus my current lock? Here they are side by side, and you'll see just like the palm reader, there can be a slight delay for the lock to wake up and scan my face. But if I'm bringing in a bunch of groceries, the face unlock is way more convenient than my Schlagen Code Plus. I think this is where the lock really shines. Remember how I said this is the lock of the future? Well, I wasn't kidding. Check out all the other features. First, the battery is rechargeable using USB-C. I love to see it. But get this, they give you 2 rechargeable batteries in the box. That way you can always have one topped up to swap out. This is amazing, and I'm so happy Lockly did this. And I think this should just be the new standard for locks going forward. There's also an extremely fast fingerprint reader on the front. It's not hidden on the side like the old Lockly locks. And this Visage lock also has Apple HomeKey. so I can still tap my iPhone or Apple Watch to open up the lock. Seriously, this has it all. Of course, it's not perfect. The keypad is slightly hidden, and we had a dog sitter come over months ago and they struggled to type in a code on our basic Schley keypad. There's no way they could have figured out this lock. But in some ways, it's more convenient than the palm reading lock because you can just tap the screen anywhere and the lock can close, which is way faster. And the Lockly Visage uses Wi-Fi, so you don't need a hub for it to work. So it's clear these locks are very convenient to use, but the real question is, do they sacrifice security? Like, what if I take a picture of my hand, put it on the iPad so it's life size, and try to trick the lock? Well, I did just that and held it up to the palm reading lock, and it did not work. Which is great news because now I don't have to hide my hand everywhere I go. I did the same thing with a picture of my face for the Lockly face detection. Same thing happened. It did not unlock. Nice. So that's a relief that you can't just bypass the locks with something that easy. And I think the knee-jerk reaction is that smart locks are less secure. But I think it's the opposite. Hear me out. With smart locks, they can auto-lock. You don't have to give someone a key to your house to let them in. And you can have temporary PIN codes that expire to keep your home more secure. Now, if lock-picking lawyer comes to your door, well, you're in trouble no matter what. But in my opinion, smart locks, especially these, increase convenience without sacrificing security, assuming your password isn't one of these. Having a lock scan your palm or face isn't the only innovation happening with smart locks right now. Apple recently announced the ability for locks to have the U1 ultra wideband chip that will allow the lock to automatically open up as you walk up to it when it detects your phone. It's not available yet, but we might be seeing locks next year that have it. So that'll be interesting to see how well that works compared to these two locks. Overall, I think the Palm Reader Smart Lock is extremely cool. If you want to impress someone that's visiting your house, this will do it. But in my opinion, scanning my face is more convenient and I'm extremely impressed with the Lockly Visage. I like it so much, I'm going to be putting it on the door to our garage because that's where we usually have our hands full, bringing things in from the car to the house. Plus the 2 rechargeable batteries, Apple HomeKey, and fingerprint reader are amazing. Max convenience. I love how many great options we have for smart locks, and sometimes it's easy to take for granted. Like if I could go back and tell my 10-year-old self that one day I would be able to open up the door to my house using my hand or my face, that would blow my mind. It's amazing, and we're definitely living in the future. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Reed, I think this palm reading lock really is the future.
I kind of think it's the face unlock.
No, seriously, watch this.
Your future is bright. You're going to get a nice break from your kids.
Whoa, I want to try.
It's not looking good. Days of playing Barbies with the kids is imminent.